Welcome back to the 91 podcast. My name is Kosi. Welcome back to brand new video. We're going to be diving into the Premier League weekend action as it happened this weekend and the Carabao Cup final where Man United were victors over Newcastle to win their first trophy in 6 years. Newcastle will be waiting for their first trophy in something like 20 years. Hit the like button, subscribe to the podcast as well. Are you happy with your team? Chelsea fans, talk to me in the comment box below. Chelsea losing again to Tottenham Hotspur, who are not actually very, very brilliant, but they just did enough to see Chelsea lose that game. Arsenal back to winning ways, back-to-back away wins against Leicester City and Aston Villa now. And of course, Manchester City were also back to winning ways with an emphatic 4-1 victory away from home against Bournemouth. Is this the start of a big run for Manchester City? Get your thoughts in the comment box below. Let me know what you think about the title race, and let me know what you think about the relegation title, because as well, the relegation title should be a title, to be honest. I think the relegation zone is far more interesting than even the top four race right about now. So let's dive into the action as it happened this weekend. The first game, of course, we had was Fulham against Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, I did predict this one as a 1-1 draw, and it did happen. Fulham won, Wolverhampton Wanderers won. It was a very beautiful game, in my opinion. I did watch it. I looked at Wolverhampton Wanderers. They've gone down a little bit in terms of quality. They did go ahead, by the way, in this game. Pablo Sarabia, sorry, in the 23rd minute. And that should have been a way to start off. That should have been the way to start off the game, because you think at the Craven Cottage, you're never going to get easy points. But Wolverhampton Wanderers, of course, lost the lead in the second half. Maina Solomon for Fulham. What a strike. That was a very, very good goal to grab a point for Fulham. Fulham, of course, will be happy with the point now that they're sitting 6th on the table. They created more chances in that game. They were the better side. They will be a little bit gutted that they didn't win the game. And Wolverhampton Wanderers in that game, of course, they'll feel lucky to walk away with the point, but I think Lopetegui wanted more than 1 point. He wanted 3 points just to make sure that he's safer from the relegation zone. He's now 2 points or 3 points away from the relegation drop zone, and that actually doesn't look very, very safe. But this one was a very, very interesting one, and I thought we really had a lot of action. Fulham will, I think their next game is going to be very, very crucial for Fulham, but either way, beautiful game. I wish you guys watched that. I really, really do. The next game was of course Everton Aston Villa. Everton losing that one by 2-0 at the Goodson Park. Aston Villa bounced back from that 4-2 defeat against Arsenal at the Villa Park. This was a game that was very, very tight. Apart from the scoreline, everything was absolutely tight. I thought Everton really, really played very well. You look at the number of shots they had, 15 in that game. They had 5 on target. Aston Villa had 9 shots on target. They had 9 shots in total. They had 5 on target. The difference was how clinical it was, and that is where it ended 2-0 for Aston Villa. I think Sean Dyche is really having a lot of progress in this team. Their next game is away at the Emirates Stadium versus Arsenal. That's not going to be an easy one, but they will need to walk away with a point. The preview for that one is on Kosi's Arsenal podcast. You can watch me. You can watch me there as I break down that game. But I thought Everton in this game, all they needed to do was find 2 goals, and then they could have grabbed the point. They're now back into the relegation zone. I think they're 18th, but winning one more game will make sure that they're out of there as quickly as they can. But brilliant game as well. I didn't watch that one, but the statistics actually suggest that it was a very, very interesting encounter. Now, of course, Leicester City as well in match number 3 of the weekend lost to Arsenal by 1-0. This one was not a close contest. This was not a close tie. I remember myself predicting this one to go 2-5. I was absolutely wrong about this game. There was no action from Brendan Rodgers. There was no action from Leicester City at all. They had an XG of 0.01. Literally, that means that they had no chances of scoring any goals in that game. They had 1 shot on goal and nothing on target. Arsenal on the other side had 2 goals disallowed. One, in my opinion, was disallowed for something very, very, I don't think it was really, really serious. And then Arsenal also missed a penalty, of course, a penalty that was not given against Bukayo Saka. It was one-way traffic in this game. Arsenal really did very well. That is the way you want to bounce back against a team like Leicester City, where everyone thinks you're going to go to the King Power Stadium and struggle. Arsenal didn't look like they struggled a lot. It's one of those 1-0 victories that don't even tell the story of the game. The scoreline is very far away from the truth and the reality of that game. I think Brendan Rodgers realized how Arsenal play. He tried to stop us. He tried to stop Arsenal. I think he went with a more defensive lineup, Josebreho and Didi in that pivot. Then he played Pryor, and then he tried to use his wide forwards to try to run an Arsenal in Harvey Barnes and Tete. That actually didn't go down very well. The fact that they didn't have James Maddison could be a key reason. But I think Leicester is one of those games where they're happy to lose the game and quickly move on to the next one. So Arsenal winning that one, and Arsenal now 2 points clear of Manchester City, also won over the weekend as well. Now, game number 4 was West Ham against Nottingham Forest. This is a game where that I predicted West Ham to win. I thought they would be back to winning ways, but not in this manner. What a game of football. 0-0 at halftime, 4-0 at full time. West Ham scoring about 4 goals within 15 minutes in the second half. They scored three goals in 10 minutes. Between 70 and 80 minutes of the game, West Ham scored 3, and you thought they absolutely needed that. They needed to find a team, beat that team very, very well, and then just now what they need to do is go on a run. In my opinion, Nottingham Forest are not a bad team, especially if you want to pick up confidence. They've been really picking up good results. Their recent fixture was a 1-0 draw with Manchester City. So if you're beating them 4-0 at home, that actually shows you that West Ham are not ready to go back. And maybe that could be the starting point for them to stay up in the Premier League. Leeds United 1, Southampton 0. This is a game that really surprised me. I don't know why I'm really surprised. I think number one is I thought Southampton were creating that small kind of run that actually was ended brutally by Leeds United. Of course, Junior Philpau scoring for Leeds United, his first goal for the club. And how important was that? Now, I still think Leeds United are really in trouble, but Leeds United, Southampton, this was always going to be close. I never thought it was going to go 3 goals or 4 goals into that game. It was always going to be 1-0, 1-1, fine margins, very, very close calls. Leeds United winning this, can they find a run? That's going to be the big question they ask themselves now. Can they find a run of 2, 3, 4, 5 games where they can be picking up around 2 wins or 3 wins and at least a draw? Anyone can still survive the drop zone, and anyone can still go down into the drop zone this campaign. Of course, still on Saturday at 8:30, Man City beat Bournemouth by 4-1. That was a real thumping. That was an absolute disaster of a game. Bournemouth are the new Norwich City for this season. Are they? They really, really don't look very well out of possession. I thought it was a game that they held on to only for 20 minutes. The moment Manchester City found their way into the back of the net for the first time, it was absolutely over. I think Manchester City, look, it was so unfair that Bournemouth had to play this game after Arsenal beating Leicester City by 0. Manchester City were always gonna respond. They did look for that response against Nottingham Forest last weekend. They didn't get that. This weekend, they absolutely got that. 4-1. Phil Foden onto the score sheet. Erling Haaland as well onto the score sheet. And Julian Alvarez as well onto the score sheet. Bournemouth did manage to score, but that is as much as they could do. Could this mean that Manchester City are back? It is definitely far away from that. They've got to play some difficult fixtures, but they will be looking at this game and going, maybe this is when we bounce back. They've played a couple of away games, starting from Arsenal, away, which they won 3-1, Bournemouth away, which they won 4-1, 1-1 against RB Leipzig in Germany, and then a 1-0 draw at the City Stadium against Nottingham Forest. So they played 4 straight away games, 1-2, and drawn 2. They've lost none of them. That means they are actually really, really serious and they mean business. But I think, look, it's a performance where I thought Manchester City just had to do what they had to do. And they did what they were supposed to do. It's very, very different from what happened against Nottingham Forest. They created all possible chances. They hit bars, they hit the woodwork, but they actually didn't try to score, right? In my opinion, they didn't finish off chances very well. Erling Haaland, actually, in this game, scored the same kind of goal that he missed against Nottingham Forest. So this was just better from them, giving them confidence as they go into their next fixtures. It could be Liverpool, in my opinion. Is it Liverpool up against Manchester City or Newcastle? They have a couple of difficult games to play as they try to get back into race with Arsenal, who have a game in hand this Wednesday. If they beat Everton, they will be around 5 points clear of Manchester City. They don't want that. And of course, the last game on Saturday was Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0 as well. To be honest, this is a game where Graham Potter has no excuses. They really played very, very poorly. Tottenham Hotspur didn't even need to get out of, I think, the fifth gear to win this game. It was absolutely flat. There was no heart. There was no passion. There was no aggression from Chelsea. And it's the same story with Chelsea fans. They just want him out. They just want Graham Potter out. But you've got to give a lot of credit to Tottenham Hotspur in that game, because the game was always there for the taking, both for Chelsea and Tottenham Hotspur. The question was, who wanted to take the 3 points? Who wanted to win the game more? And Tottenham Hotspur, just like any other team that has played Chelsea this campaign, raised up to the occasion and they said, we want to take the 3 points home. We want to be the winners and we want the game more than Chelsea. Now, I've looked at a few of the excerpts and quotes from Graham Potter in his press conference after the game, and he said he needs to be given more time, just like Mikel Arteta was given more time, and Jurgen Klopp as well. But in my opinion, this is what I think. I think Graham Potter has not shown us what he's all about and Chelsea. He's not actually put a blueprint. He's not actually written a mark on this Chelsea side as the manager. We know he's a great manager. We know he's he's not a great manager actually. He's a good guy in terms of football management and coaching. He's done a great job at Brighton, but he's got to understand that Chelsea is a bigger club. You need to go away at Tottenham Hotspur, put in a real good performance. If not that, you're never going to find points. You will never really find points. But I think I also back Graham Potter at some point in time, because it says we need to find a good game, we need to find a good win, and we need to find good momentum, okay? So Chelsea fans, you will be waiting for another goal from Chelsea, not this weekend, probably in the UEFA Champions League in midweek. That could be the time. But this weekend, Chelsea again, trash. Absolutely trash. Spurs, yeah, you just take. You can only beat what is in front of you. Spurs were not great either, but they will be looking to find that kind of run that has actually been running away from them more often than not. And in my opinion, if you want to get a run, if you want to start winning games more consecutively, how about winning a London derby against Chelsea? How about that? But I thought Spurs were the better side, and they were a little bit impressive as well. And the final game of the weekend was Manchester United in the Carabao Cup, beating Newcastle 2-0. Erik ten Hag winning his first title as the Manchester United boss, and of course Eddie Howe losing his first final as Newcastle boss. That was a game that I thought Newcastle really played very well. Not better than Man United, because United did everything so perfectly, defending very well. The goalkeeper was absolutely good at shot stopping, and also when it came to putting the ball into the back of the net, they absolutely did that. So I thought United were the better side in terms of efficiency and effectiveness. But if you're looking for good football, then Newcastle must have caught your eye over the game. But this is all. I think this game literally brings to the stage a new rivalry. Newcastle, Man United. There is a mix of Arsenal in that rivalry as well. Manchester City, of course, as the oldest champions and the strongest team in the Premier League right now. We are going to see more finals, and you're going to see more battles for trophies between Newcastle and Man United, and we'll see more trophies shared between Man United and Newcastle in the next decade. So that was the weekend for me. Quite very fascinating as an Arsenal fan. We did win, so I didn't have any problems. My only problem was that my prediction for the Liverpool game didn't actually come through, right? But Crystal Palace 0, Liverpool 0 was boring, wasn't it? It was absolutely boring. But anyway, I'll see you right in the next one. Hit the like button and share the podcast as well.